Usually it's okay. We are recording. Welcome to the evening of Python coding, where we show a Python tool or library each time we do this every third Tuesday. Um, this time, this meeting, and I apologize if I butchered the name. Udemezui Iloabachi will give us a demo of console prints and how bad I was with the name.
Was good enough.
Good enough. Okay, you
It's a
don't have
plus
to.
one.
I practiced enough time. Go ahead, Dumezu. Go ahead and show us console print. Share your screen.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Udemezue Iloabachi, and I'll be showing you about console print. So it's a Python package which I created. And what it does is simply just gives some life to your output on the screen, makes it sort of animated and makes it more interesting and exciting, and also can be used to divert your output from the screen to a file. So it's on the Python package index website. It's uploaded there, and you can install it using the pip install console print command. So I'll go right to Visual Studio Code and I'll install console print. Okay, and then that should install it. Pretty small. So version 1.8. It's gone through a few revisions. You can see that from the history here. If you want to take a look at, it's gone through a few versions. Started in 2003, and just keep modifying it. And things come to my mind, I just make a modification and add it, and then I upload a new version. So we'll go right to what it can do. I think the first thing, not all terminals can display it. I haven't tested it on so many terminals, but I have tried it with PyCharm, VS Code, and of course inside command prompt and Linux. Sure, it does work. So first thing, we want to run this command. You get this command in the README page. So let's go back to project description. You have that command here. So once you import the package and run the terminal test, it just tells you if your packet can, if your terminal can display the colors and all that's required for it to appear correctly. So let me run this. It's just a function, and it's pretty much what our demo, but it just packs them all together in one function. So let me run Python file, and you can see it allows you to print with some background color, or okay, it's all going to run through everything, but I'm going to go through one by one on the next group. But you can see it adds animation and adds some kind of life to your output. Instead of having just plain black text and just hits the display at once, you can make some changes and do a lot of things with it. So I'm going to comment this out, and then I'll go on to take them file by file, because there's several modules of our packages, several sub-files in the main console print module. So we start with the first console to file module or package or module. I always mix up the two, I'm not sure which is which. But yeah, so we import it using this command, the console print.console to file, and I give it an alias file. And so what I will do now is I'll first of all demo how to save your output to a file. So this could be any kind of output that is printed to the console. So instead of having it displayed on the console, it goes to a file. So first you have to input, you put in the first function that diverts your terminal output to a file, and you choose a file name. This could be whatever you want. So I'm just going to call it first file. Okay, without just going to underscore this, there are no spaces. I'll call it first file.txt. Okay, so whatever we print out to the screen now after this command is run goes to that file, and then we need to end the console save to the file with this command. It has some default value, so the default value is true, if I remember right. Okay, we can find that out what the default is. But if you put prompt, this will ask if you want to open the file when you're done saving to file. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try and print the calendar for 2024. Let's make it 24 calendar inside this file, first file, and then we'll see how it diverts the output to the file, and then we can view the file and see what the output. So let me make the prompt true first, so we do see what it looks like. So I'm going to run this. Oh, sorry, this is running with Node.js. All right, so it is writing to file. and then it saves the output to this file.txt. I'll ask you, the prompt command here does prompt you, would you like to open the file? And if I say no, it wouldn't open up the file. But if I say yes, enter, it opens the file, or it opens in a different window, sorry, on my second screen. So it opens the file in a new window, and this is the output that was run. So without this, we'll have it normally in the file. So let me take this off first so you can see the difference between, without the commands to divert the output to the file, and I run this, it just prints it out on in the terminal. So you can, whatever you want to save to your file, instead of printing and copying and pasting, you can just use these commands and it diverts all your output into a file. And then of course the file will be in the same folder as as whatever folder you have active, the file will be in there, and that's the file we have here. So that's it for the console print to file. But there are two of them. So this one is for printing. You can have multiple commands, multiple functions between the two start and end console print. But if you're just going to output the function, if you just want the output of a particular function into a file, you can use the decorator, which is this one, this command or this code. So I have a decorator created where you can choose a file name. Let's call it second.txt. And prompt, let's make it true as well. I'll demonstrate when it's also false, what happens. So there, when you put in your function, and so whatever is returned in the output, what am I doing here? Okay, second.txt, and then yeah, so whatever comes between this file will be saved to I don't really remember what I did here. I thought I remembered it, but let me just run this real quick and see. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, still running this. I'm going to comment this out of the way so we don't have this in our way. I'll clear the screen. Okay, so let me run this. Oh no, I keep forgetting. Okay, I'm not sure that happened. So it did not save for some reason. Looks like something is broken here.
You have to import calendar.
Sorry?
From calendar, import calendar. You didn't import it, so we can find
So it's
it.
imported. I imported it in here inside
okay.
the function. So I didn't want to, it all stays together. And this worked earlier, but for some reason, sorry, keep it. It's not running for some. Okay. Oh yeah, you know why it's not running? Because I did not. The function is not it's not commented out, so that's why it didn't run. So now I have to run the function for this to run, and what happens? It will save the output. This is the calendar output. It will save it to this file second.txt. So let's do that. And just the same way this occurs, it's doing write to file and tells it has been saved to the file path. And you want to run the file because here the prompt is set to true. It runs, you can prompt it to open, yes, and then it opens the file right away. And that's second.txt. So if we set prompt to false, this wouldn't ask you that question at all. And then it just saves the file and you don't have to let's see okay, so write into file and it ends. So this will save it, write it to file, but wouldn't prompt you if you want to open the file that was just saved. So that's how this works for saving your output to the file. So now let's go into the animations for the windows. And that's what we have here. So I'm going to go one after the other. So first we import the package using this command, and you can give any alias you want, but I just use PRT. So the first one, I'm going to make this wider a bit. Now, I name the function printing, and this prints out your output letter by letter, which you can actually customize. Well, it does two things. You can print letter by letter or word by word, but that depends on the argument you put in the function. So if you set a delay, how long it takes before each letter appears, you can make this 1 second, and that would be a bit too slow. But 0.05 is kind of appropriate, so it appears every half a second. And the style is letter, so this means it's going to print letter by letter. You can use word and to print the text, which you end to put in here, the string here to print it word by word. And then stay equals true. This, what this does is it makes it, after it's output what's it called, the text word by word or letter by letter, it leaves it on the screen. If stay is false, it will disappear, the screen remain blank. Reverse, is for printing it letter by letter but backwards. So you can set reverse to true, and to print it backwards, if reverse is false, you print forward. And then the format, this comes from, I'll show you in the console print. This is here. So you can choose if you want text to be in gray text or red or green or whatever color you want, if you want to have some background to it. So basically, you can actually enter the ANSI escape sequence, which will be this \033 code, to determine what color comes out, or you can use the format this text here. But there are a lot more escape sequences, but I just put some shortcuts to commonly use in common English that we can use for the argument instead of having to remember these codes for the basic colors that we have. But let me show you all the other the escape sequences. There's so many colors that we could actually use. And I think I did not lift that code, but it's also here in here. You can get that list from here. So to see the available ANSI codes, we can run this function. So let's do that first before we go into running this. I'm going to comment this out. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to lose that. So let's run this function. Get space for it. So you can see if you use the codes are here with the colors. So basically, if you run this, if you put in this argument, this 048, you get this kind of output. If you put in what is this 480, this two, I mean, you can just put in the escape sequence between the what you have in between the quotation marks instead of the what's it called, the format, and that will give you the output to look like what you see on the screen here, different background colors and different what's the last? Okay, oh yeah, it's a longer list. So you have the text color and then the ones with the background. And here you can get double underscore, you can get the strike through, you can get italics. I should probably make fixed ones for the italics and all that, but I didn't make that. And I can add that later on. But okay, so let's just demo it and we'll see what it does look like. So so the first one is this, and this will print, I expect to print letter by letter, because start is letter by letter, and it will stay on the screen after it's done printing, and to be forward, not backwards, and it's going to strike out the text. So let's hit run, and then you can see it going, okay, 0.5 is a bit slow. Let's just make it 0.05 was what I used earlier. So let's go so we can get through quicker. Okay, let's hit run again. Okay, so it's letter by letter. We can change that to reverse true, and then if you run this, it goes backwards instead of forwards. And if I have this stay as false, like I said earlier, and I hit run, it goes letter by letter and then disappears, doesn't stay on the screen after that. And then this way you need to have it not remain on the screen if you want to put something else in that same line. But that's how this works. And let's see the sample for the word by word print. We can use this one, and it goes, this is in reverse, but it's going word by word. And let's actually look at it. Go. And if you have questions, you can just stop me and ask me questions, but I'm not sure there'll be a lot of questions because it's kind of basic stuff. Let's go forward, so that would be false. And let's see it go word by word, but forward in the opposite direction. So let's okay, sorry, I was going to clear screen. All right, so let's go on to the next one. It's the flash print, and this would make the entire text flash number of times you desire based on the arguments you input. So maybe what I will do is I should put this below. So, panel position will be bottom. So we have it wide across the screen. Okay, so now we are here. So you can tell it to blink if you want to blink 3 times, 5 times, 10 times as you want, and you can set the delay, of course. Quicker, faster, you can put any number you want in there. And stay, of course, does the same thing. To stay after printing or disappear, and then you choose the format. So let me run this, and we can see. So it flashes the entire text in green. I could use red, and this will flash the text in red. Okay, and then let's use an escape sequence that's let's get the escape sequence from here and pick a random one, just so you can see how you can put in the escape sequence as well and it will work. So I'm going to pick up this light yellow one. So this will be the escape sequence I'm going to use now for this. Let's clear screen. And then I'm going to lose this. And I'm going to put that in the format. Okay. Now hit run, and it does use the escape sequence as I selected. So that's how the flash print works. And then we've got flash text. So what this does, will flash only a particular text within the word, but you have to enter it in not like you enter the other ones in a single string, but you enter it in two strings. So we have the phrase and then the text, the one that will flash. So that comes in the second argument, and the argument has name is I can put this here. So the argument takes in the phrase, so the text in whatever will flash, and then the text is what you want to flash this part, and the index you can tell it to. The default is at the end of the text, but you can put it at any index position using the index number, and to flash it at that index position. How many times it's going to blink, and the delay, how long, how slow, how fast it flashes, and format. So here I have default as the default text is 0, which is the default color of your terminal. But here, the format I'm putting there in here is yellow. So let's test and take a look at it and see. So typically, it puts the text in the phrase that makes it flash. Let me make it flash a little bit more. So let's make it flash 10 times, for example. And it's going to flash 10 times before it stops. And if we do not put in the index position, it will flash at the default position, which will be at the end. So if I hit run, put the text at the end and flashes it in there. So you can, when it starts at the beginning, of course, you can put the index to 0 and now make it flash at the start of the text. So you can just play with it to get whatever effect you want to achieve in your output. And then I've got the animate. It's just a bunch of I've basically playing around, but I think it makes you add some life to, if you're going to make maybe a terminal application, it makes it a little bit more lively than having them just appear without any form of animation on the screen. So looking at these flashes, whatever text you want it to flash, here I choose to flash the hash symbol, and then it replace it after the last flash with this. Okay, and then of course the format goes the same for all of them. You put in the color or the ASCII escape sequence, and that will flash choose the color. The second animated flashes your symbol that you choose a bit differently. And maybe I'll change the symbol here to art symbol so we can see it display something else. And hit the play, and that's flashing the art, and then it would clean it out and put in the text you want, and then flash. So you can modify that as you will based on by playing around with the arguments of the function. So that's for this one. We've got the text box. This text box just types your text and puts it in a box, basically. And the box will be made of whatever symbol you choose. So I choose the hash symbol, but it could be anything. You put in your text. First argument is your text. So I'm putting a box in. And then you can decide to either spread out the text, add padding, put walls on the sides, align it to the left, right, to center of the screen, or even to an index position on the screen. It doesn't have to be left, right, to center. So let's demo all samples. So this is aligned to the left, aligned to the right here. So if I want to align the left, I can type left in there. And if I run it, it will align to the left. If I set the press spread to true, this is what we get. When I hit run, it adds spaces between the letters and spreads it out. If I set the wall to false and I run this, it takes out the side walls and you just have boxing between two lines. So it's kind of like a fun stuff, but and then of course you can change the argument. So here I have the escape sequence. I'm just going to make this red, for example, and it comes out in red text. So that's pretty much all this does. And then we go to asteriscify. I just coming up with random names as it came to my head. And this one, it just underlines your text with an asterisk. And of course, I didn't show demonstrate something with this one as well, because we can also put in the argument, we can put in the okay, this takes a string or integer. The align argument takes a string or integer, so you can align it at perhaps in index position 14 or thereabouts. Let's say align, instead of putting left, right, to center, I can use 15 and I hit run, and it takes a 15 indent 15 positions, and you have the text in there. and this could be 30, and hit the run, and then it's aligned to whatever I want to appear on the screen, basically. So that is that with this. But this one, I think I did not add. Oh, for this, I did not add in number indents. It's just align it just left, right, and center. Okay. So for this one, you can align your text left, right, and center. You can change the color, and you can add underscore or not. So if I hit the run button, it just gives you your text with asterisks underneath. If you align left, it would appear on the left. Underscore true, if I make this false, and then it will simply not have any underscore beneath it. But yeah, that's just the basics of this. And I haven't really know what to do with these ones, these animations for loading. It just prints typical loading animations you would see in an old computer game, in the way it looks. I'm just trying to get that effect. And I use it in a few programs where I just try to slow things down so it's not, the output doesn't come out too quickly. You actually see a sample of that when I run the start and end console save. I used one of the loading animations in here. So let me take this out. Okay. And I'll run this again. Let me print the calendar. Okay. So wait a minute. What's my mic? Oh no, not this one. Oh, we can use this one anyway. We can use this as well. So if I hit run, oh, I think I didn't comment. I didn't get everything I needed to comment out. Okay, about this. Oh yeah, this shouldn't be here. Is it? So you have this writing to file, this scrolling animation of that slash backslash kind of scrolling. So we get that animation separately as a function. Let me take this on out. I can lose this one too. We get that separately in here. So okay, let me just do the one after the other. I don't want them all to run at the same time. So this is just a countdown timer, basically. You can set it to count down from 10, and it just counts down in seconds. Okay, so not a big deal. We don't need to spend too much time on this one. That's all it does, counts down for whatever number you put in there. The second one, which is the loading animation, and this is what it looks like. And with this one, you can actually choose the text that appears here. What's loading, it could be running, it could be whatever you want. So you can put that in as an argument. So, oh, I didn't build that into this. Sorry. So it's not in there, it's in a different application. So my bad. So here just has the loading animation and loads up to 100%, and it shows you this. But I think I'm going to modify it later on so you can choose what text would appear. It could be loading, it could be running, it could be whatever, that kind of thing. You can choose the text, and then that would load up on the screen. And I got this animation as well, also loading, just call it loading too, because it gives you this spinning symbol. So I think it's in this one I put the text. Oh yeah, so you can change the text in this one. So the text is loading right now. It could be running, it could be printing, it could be anything. So you could say text. Which one goes first? So the time first, and then the text will be next. So let's go. Text could be, I'd say, running or anything, and then it would show running, and then you have the animation loading that in the corner. And then the last one is just bar scrolls left and right. And you can choose how long it will appear. This one appears longer than it's not actually 5 seconds long, it's longer than 5 seconds, but if you put in 5, it would load for, I'm not sure how long, but it's just going to keep going back and forth like that. And this kind of loading symbol that you could come across or can be used for something. So that's the whole thing in a nutshell. Pretty much most of all it does. And you can find the code on GitHub. So if you want to, you can actually see the source code. And if you have any ideas to improve it or add any other functionality to the code, you can always make a fork it and then make modifications and let me know, and I can add it to the main code. So it's open source. Anybody can modify it and play with it basically. So that's console print in a nutshell.
Oh, thank you. I
I
see
may have gone
people.
too fast, but any questions?
Before questions, first give you some claps, make some noise, or do some symbols on screen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys, I'm so stupid about this question. It's so hard to me.
No, so actually, this is actually nice for beginners of Python. We sometimes have very, very absolute beginners coming to this meetup, and this is actually kind of a cute thing. So let me ask you a question. Like you created this package and you packaged it and put it on PyPy. How easy or hard was that process? So if I'm a beginner and want to put a package on PyPy, like how
Well,
long did it take? How complicated?
it's not too difficult to upload to PyPy. You just need to go to the instructions on the Python documentation, and I have the instructions here which I can share, and it gives you the steps. Okay, packaging Python projects. So you just need to
So
follow the instructions here, super easy. You follow the format for arranging the files in folders, and then run a few commands.
So how
I'll
long did it like when you started doing it? How long did it take you? Like a few hours or to figure it out?
I would say less than an hour it took me to figure it out.
And
Didn't
then
take too long.
okay, and then you played around with it a bit more, correct?
Yes, then I played around, kept modifying it and tweaking it here and there to figure out how to do a few, make it a little bit more standard. Yeah, so basically you just need to install the upgrade build. Sorry, the first we need to to generate the distribution first. And I use Windows, so yeah. If you have it already installed, then you need to upgrade the build. And then there's Twine, something else with Twine that you install Twine, and then you upload repository with this command. So that's all in a nutshell. And it's pretty easy to follow. Straight, all the notes here are very easy to follow. It's not very difficult to make sense out of it. And I've done
Perfect.
it so many times because each time you upload a new version, you need to go through the same steps each time. So I've gone through several versions already, you know. So you can
Yeah,
download the older versions and see what it looked like at the beginning. Had lots of bugs, probably still does, that have not been discovered yet, but it was quite buggy and I kept discovering things that were breaking and uploading new versions every now and then. So yeah.
very nice. So you gave us some instructions, beginners. Mike, do you want to ask your question or should I read it?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Having some technical difficulties here. Hi. That was a great presentation. I just wanted to ask, what was your favorite experience through all this?
One of the best experience, probably just the fact that I had something I put up on the PyP website that was available to everyone. That was the best experience. Like we should put I've done this and it's you can try it out and test the code. Just go on this website and install it using pip, and that was it. So that was the fun part about it. But I think it was also interesting getting the code to clean up the code and try and remove as many bugs as I could find. Because you think you've done a good job and you're playing like, oh, they missed, this is actually wrong, and you have to go back and do it again and clean up. And it was just kept me busy really, and it was fun, I would say.
So
Nice.
where did you get the idea of writing this? Here, Ricardo, ask after me. Where did you get the idea of actually doing console print?
All right, so the idea came from I was actually working on a project. I saw a question online that was to design a game, which was with the three options. I mean, a guessing game pretty much. So we have to break a code, and then when you make a guess, the system just gives you prompts or hints as to what the actual number is by telling you whether your guess is a match or close or not at all, not a match at all. So when making that, I made that code and it was pretty short and very how would I put it? It was very every click, every time you put your input and press enter, it just gives the next output instantly, just without feeling like you didn't feel like you were engaged with the program. It was just boring output in a way. So I tried to make it a little bit more animated and give it a little life to the code, and I just kept modifying that code, and it's probably got to about 500 lines long eventually, just adding up all these functions. I tried to make the text scroll through to the page, flash and all that kind of thing. And when it gives you an output, it gives you some kind of animated output. Then I thought I could actually put this into a package that could be used in other programs, not just in this particular program I was working on. That's where the idea came from. If you want, I could actually demo that program, but it doesn't have the code in it. But it just has pretty much the code in it, but I didn't import the console print. It's just I use the same functions in that program, but not console print itself.
Okay, so you actually started with a simple task, but then you decided to make it a library.
Yes, a simple task, and then I made it a library after that.
Okay. Ricardo, you wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, great presentation. Great job there putting this together. I can't pronounce your name. I listened to you earlier. Say it again. I'll see if I can repeat it.
It's Udemezwe.
Udemezwe. Is that right?
Pretty good. That's quite good.
All right. Great job. This is my first time attending this meeting, the community here or the meetup. But I live in the DC area, and I was just trying to understand earlier. Jacob did ask the question, what inspired you to make this library? But I think my question to you is, what's the use case, right? What use case are you trying to solve for the community? Is it mostly focused on debugging and learning, I guess, through the terminal, what's happening in the code, so help you identify the issues as you're writing code? And then the question is, did you not find this available in the community already in Python, that you had to create your own? How did you go about the process?
I wouldn't say it solves the problem, but it just makes your output more interesting in a way. And I'll run the program and show you what I'm talking about, how it makes it a little bit more lively, as opposed to just spitting out the output, plain white text with no changes. But I didn't check if there was anything else that did something similar. I did come across Reach. There's a package, Reach out. I can't remember what it's called. Reach that does have some color animations to it, but it doesn't. It's not the same thing as what I do. So I couldn't find anything that does the same thing exactly. It's not going to solve a problem. It just makes it improves the user experience. I'm going to say, if you have a terminal application an application that runs in the terminal basically, and then that helps you put out nicer looking text instead of just the plain white text. And
Right.
The second question was tagged along.
Yeah, so I mean, you've answered the use case, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was the main purpose of the use case, is to present pretty clear, easy to digest text to the terminal as you're debugging.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty
And
much.
when you made it a library, so it's available to the market, but I was like, do they, there's thousands of projects out there, I was wondering if you had exhausted the research to find if there's a similar library, and why not modify the library versus creating your own,
I mean, I didn't check, but I would like to see if someone has something similar to this, and then it would be nice to look into so what I can add and modify to what's existing. So I'll probably go back. I never thought about going to check for an existing library that does the same thing, but I think I should do that now. See if I find
no, good. I do plan to use your library, right? Let's say,
okay.
But I'm like, are there any other users in the market right now that may be using this, taking advantage of this pretty text printout?
Right now, I can't see if it gets downloaded. It doesn't show me that on the PyP website, so I don't know if people are using it or not. But I just have it out there.
Got it. And how many dependencies did you have to use? How many other libraries did you have to use to build this? I didn't look at your code yet, but was it
No, I didn't use any dependency, any library for this. It's just pure inbuilt libraries in Python.
Okay.
They get by default.
Yeah. Core Python libraries.
Yeah, the core Python libraries.
Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Jackson, you have a question?
Yes, sir, I do. Hey, Udemezue, am I
Yes.
pronouncing that correct?
Close enough.
Okay.
I'm used to whatever pronunciation you call me. Most people don't get it right. Even back home in Nigeria, people don't get it right. So I know it's a difficult name.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So do you maintain different versions of this package for like different versions of Python? And if so, how did you go about even like doing that version control, and kind of what tools did you use to help make sure that you were up to date on all of those versions?
Oh no, the older versions. I mean, PyP keeps a history of all the older versions, so it's not like it's different versions for different versions of Python. It's just one version out there, but the older versions still work, and they all I only use Python 3.10 and above. So I never tried it with anything lower than 3.10. So I do believe it's going to work because the code is not. I think it's not in that's new in Python 3.10 that is in there in 3.9, but I just didn't check 3.9. But I maintain only one version, but you can see the history of the older versions in PyP's history.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moose is asking something about, is there an HTML or CSS for it?
No, not HTML, but this is just pure Python. It's if you look at the source code, there's no other it's only 100% Python. There's no HTML or anything else in it. So it's just how do I put it? Raw Python. I don't know how you mean. How does the only way to include HTML or CSS to this? Because that would mean having to run in a browser, but it's just for terminals.
I have a trick question. You don't have to answer it correctly, but it's a trick question. I was playing with there are multiple of those AI libraries like PyTorch, TensorFlow, and they print on screen all those all those timers that go on. Like you have like loading timers at the end. They have all those progress bars running when the AI is training and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I was playing around with PyTorch, and PyTorch has a problem. It doesn't work on all terminals. For example, if you have it inside PyCharm, then you instead of seeing the progress bar like moving, you see like a huge like many like one line with the beginning, then line when the progress bar a little bit better, and so on and so forth. Sometimes it prints totally other things as well. So my question to you is, on what terminals does your console work? Will it work natively on the PyCharm debug? We see it's working in VS Code, but does it work on all terminals?
It works in PyCharm, but it wouldn't work in on the IDE, the Python IDE. What's it called? IDE, the integrated development blah 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 that comes with Python package. But it works on PyCharm. It works in command prompt. It works in Linux Bash shell, and it does work on VS Code, of course.
It works within the IDE in PyCharm?
Yes, it does work in PyCharm, the IDE. All the animations work in PyCharm.
Really?
Yes.
You did something that the other people couldn't do, because they had an issue on PyTorch about this, and people told you, oh, there's no solution. Oh, well, you might want to solve the problem from them, and
maybe
if you know how.
Yeah.
Moose, you want another question?
Yes. Hi, Udam Mesway.
Yes.
Sorry if I got it wrong. You mentioned that this can run in Linux terminal and any terminal. How would I go about doing that? How do I go to GitHub? Sorry, it's a newbie question, but how do I install this program?
Okay, so if you want to install it, you simply use pip install and to get it working. So I'm going to uninstall it now and show you. Probably now the background is now set to red. I need to set it back to default, and I need to run the code to get it back to default. Let me just run one of these animations that has no color, because I cut it midway. So give me a second. I should use Control A.
But before
Okay.
that, do you download it? You download it from GitHub, right? Into
No,
No.
wait. I'll show you how to get it. It's because it's on the PyP website, so you can always install it using this command pip install console print, and that gets
oh,
it
okay.
installed. So once you have it installed, then you can run it. If you have a Python file, for example, and you launch the file from Linux Bash, you can run it to appear correctly in the file. I mean, in Linux Bash, it appear correctly also in Windows command prompt. So I'm going to just demonstrate that in a second, but I need to comment this out. I want to get it back to default color because for some reason, I don't recall how to change it back to default. I think I have to go to the settings somewhere. Okay, so now this should be default. No, Control Z.
I'm sorry that this is like a newbie question, but I'm not that advanced in Python.
Oh, it's okay. I'm also pretty much a newbie, so I'm not.
This is why this was actually when I saw this library, I figured this is good for for beginners. So you're in the right place.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna try to run it in my Linux. I have Bash.
Okay, go Bash, so you can run it there and see. And I can actually try and run it here, maybe so everyone can see it. So if I go to
I assume you have Python installed, probably. If you're using Ubuntu, then probably
Yes,
good.
yes, yes. I have Ubuntu. I have Ubuntu, and it is giving me an error saying I need Python 3
Yeah,
dash P.
this comes with Python. What version of Ubuntu do you have? So this comes with
22.04.
oh sorry, Python 3 version 2204. This should come with
yeah.
3.10, the minimum. Install
Oh, console print.
console okay, I think I got spelling wrong. Console.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it installs and then I need to get a Python file. So let me just create a file. Let me call it .py, and then let's try and copy and paste colored animation from here in here. But first, let me remove the comments so I don't have to do that line by line. Okay, save it. Okay. Oh, so I did not save it.
Demo, not nano.py.
Oh yeah, got demo. Yeah, sorry. Demo py. All right, it's there. So if I run this Python 3 and demo.py, it works in the terminal here.
Cool.
Oh, Python 3 demo. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So inside the demo.py, what did you put inside? I'm sorry.
I just copied but you can get the text. If you go to pyp.org, you can copy the commands from here. I mean, the code from here. Just copy this one. This one with the animation and the color. Just copy all of that and then paste it in your file. You should have a link to this in the chat.
So Jacob, you were saying that TensorFlow had a problem printing pretty text like this.
Actually, it's more PyTorch, but like PyTorch is worse. Look,
Is
but
worse.
TensorFlow has the same problem. No, the problem is not printing in it. It's all those progress bars that tell you how much of the AI is like did this. So actually, there's an issue on this on GitHub on PyTorch. I figured out, and they complain, and someone complained about no, the progress bar is not working, and it's printing wrong, and some people complain somewhere else. And then someone says, well, it's a terminal problem. So it's like, so apparently the Bezui figured out something that they couldn't figure out in something much simpler. They wouldn't deal with it. So if you actually run it within a PyCharm, then you see a lot of prints instead of seeing one line moving. That's the difference. Any other questions for the Mezui? Questions going once? Questions going twice? Okay, if no more questions, then I ask us all to clap again, make some noise, and thank Udamezu for his very nice. Oh yeah,
Thank you.
That's had Mike Jadu asking about sharing an event at the end of this presentation.
what?
Mike, if you wanted to share that presentation,
I'm not sure what Mike.
look in the chat window at 7:48, or sorry,
7:48.
4 comments up. Or sorry, 3
Yeah,
comments.
Mike, wait with this. We're gonna stop the recording now, and
Okay.
after the recording,
Okay.
stick around. We're not going anywhere.
Okay.
We're just finishing the recording. So give me a second. I'll stop the recording, and then continue hanging around here. Give me a second.
Thank you.